Real quick before we get into the review, just gotta thank the people over on Patreon, because without their support, a lot of this upgraded content you see on the channel would not be possible. And I gotta say, on top of being able to respond to you guys in the DMs, you know, one of the fun things about the Patreon is every 3 months we do an anime and manga haul, and there's a lot of good goodies in that one. You also get sneak peeks at videos that haven't made their way onto the channel yet. I'm still figuring out what to do for actual YouTube memberships, so leave a suggestion down in the comment section below. But with that being said, thank you so much for all of you guys' support, and now let's get into the review. Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys a review for Boruto episode 191. And now that episode 191 is done and in the books, this is going to be a very simple review, at least for my standards at least. And I gotta say, this episode right here, they did a few things that they're directly setting up stuff that you're about to see in the anime that is content that is covered in the manga. So I will give kudos on that result right there. I thought that this was a simple episode. I thought that there were a few literature devices that were actually used to actually begin the process of getting Kawaki over, which is one of those times where you're seeing the actual stray dog that is used as a way to actually have Kawaki be personified in another object that's not himself. So in this case, actually seeing the dog, and just as you see that that dog is very mistrusting, but once people earn his trust, that dog was very loyal. That's how Kawaki is right there. He doesn't trust easily, but once you do earn his affection, he loves very hard, and he's not going above and beyond to protect those that he actually cares for. So I like that you see that little bit of Kawaki's personality actually reflected in that actual dog, and I like how Kawaki's guard begins to lower because of the interactions with the dog, and because Sumire begins to treat the dog, that's when Kawaki actually lowers his guard, because again, that's something that actually broke through his defenses. So I thought that that was nice. I thought that that was a nice setup right there. I thought this was better than that cat episode that Mitsuki did. I fell asleep watching that episode. This one, I actually, maybe because it was something that ties in with the manga, but I actually stayed awake watching this episode. But what I will say though is that I like how they set everything up to where after you see Kawaki go from choking out that dog, potentially getting ready to crush its actual neck because it's trying to restrain it, Kawaki doesn't know his strength. You see the dog give up, and then you see Kawaki actually tear off his own cloth and treat the injuries of the dog and give the dog the food that Kawaki needed in order to regenerate. I like how it goes from that to actual Kawaki choking out Sumire, and then Kawaki absorbing the scientific ninja weapon tech attacks that are being fired at him and shooting it back at an increased amount, and then seeing that small child in the crowd and Kawaki changing the direction of the attack, which is something I think Naruto noticed, because Naruto's on the way, and then all of a sudden you see Naruto in the air and he takes that attack, which it would have hit the building, and the building would have broken apart and it would have fallen potentially onto people. So Naruto definitely saved people. But I like the fact that after Kawaki's attack hits Naruto, Kawaki, he's ready to throw hands. He's like, oh, so the big boss is here now, get out of my way. And Kawaki throws that punch, but there's no bite behind it. I like that you get that interaction right there, because it pays off everything that we've seen in the episode so far. Like, you see the actual progression of Kawaki because of how they use the dog as that narrative device to reflect Kawaki's changing soul. So I thought that that was nice right there. The different attempts that Kawaki had to actually turn him away, and the fact that he has a logical reason for it. His reasoning is essentially, if this dog stays around me, if Jigen, if Kara catches me, they're going to kill this dog. I don't want anything to actually happen to him. And that's what I mean when I say that Kawaki is a character where once you win his trust, he's going to do everything he can to actually protect you. He's going to do everything he can to show how much he cares for you, but he can't do it in a direct manner. So he was actually looking out for that dog right there. So I thought that that was cool. You know, Kawaki, that's another side of his character that you see, is that, you know, he's not above potentially hurting your feelings if it means actually protecting you. And so what the anime's doing right now is the anime is essentially trying to get Kawaki over with the fans. Like if he's a babyface, essentially, to use a wrestling term, so if he's a babyface, they're essentially trying to build up enough goodwill to get him over with the fans. That way, once you start seeing more of Kawaki's backstory, once you start seeing that stuff right there, you're going to really sympathize with the character and you're really going to begin to root for the character. And I can confirm based on the episode titles and some of the information that we have as far as with the leaks that, if I'm not mistaken, I think episode 192, towards the end of that, that's when we're going to start moving back towards the actual manga adaptation and content. This transition arc that we've had so far has essentially just been setting up everything and giving you more detail on Kawaki, which, I mean, that's not a bad thing, just given the fact that, like I've said in the past, because of how the actual manga is structured, from the actual paneling and the way that the actual story does a lot of telling and it doesn't show you a lot of stuff. So in order to make up for the manga's lack of depth, the anime is taking things into its own hands and trying to actually flesh Kawaki's character out more. Again, that way Kawaki would be a character that gets more traction with the anime only fans, and anime only fans will begin to root for him. That way, when you get all these revelations, everything is going to stick a lot more and the stakes are going to be a lot higher. I like how by building up Kawaki's character, they're also indirectly building up Jigen as this character that the audience knows is a very bad person. Now, the anime opening, it shows you where Jigen is fighting against Kawaki and Boruto. So you know that at the bare minimum, the guy's actually strong because he's fighting Karma Seal Boruto and Karma Seal Kawaki at the same time, and he's not even going all out. So you know the guy's strong, but they're doing a good job of just setting this guy up as being a very devious character. So I thought that that was cool right there. And I like how you also get this moment to where when Sumire takes care of the dog after the dog gets his stomach sliced by that shopkeeper because the dog was stealing the food that he was going to give to Kawaki, I like how that dog, after Kawaki sees it healed, that's when Kawaki kind of lowers his guard to Sumire, and you get this very beautiful scene, which is something that I was really hoping for. You get this beautiful scene where Kawaki tells her like, yo, don't you touch me, but then he proceeds to allow her to actually pull up his actual sleeve and look at the wound on his arm, and then Kawaki allows himself to lower his guard even further, and he gets personal to her, and he says like, look, the closer people get to me, the more they're gonna get hurt. And that's when Sumire begins to project some of her own experience onto him as a way to actually seek mutual understanding. So I like what you see right there, because Sumire tells him like, yo, I was used by my father. My father implanted a weapon into me. That weapon was Nue. I came very close to destroying the village, but because of Boruto, because of all of my friends, I was able to get back on the right track. The 7th Hokage is coming here. He's a very understanding person. The 7th Hokage will hear you out. Just be honest with them. And what I like though is that Kawaki, he realizes that Sumire is actually shooting straight with them, but where there's a bit of a disconnect is that Boruto shows up and those policemen show up and they're firing off all these ninja weapon tech attacks, and I've seen people confused on how Kawaki was able to absorb those attacks. So I'll give a brief explainer. If you want more information, watch my video called the Karma Seal Explained. But basically the way that that Karma Seal works is any attack that is based in solely chakra can be absorbed by Kawaki's Karma Seal. However, if it is an attack that uses actual elemental abilities first, like say somebody's standing on top of an actual lake and they use the water in the lake as a water style attack, that can actually be absorbed by the Karma Seal. But if it's water that is produced by chakra itself out of nowhere, that in itself can be absorbed by karma. So that's why he was able to absorb those attacks from the shinobi gauntlets that they were using. So I thought that that was kind of cool to actually see that aspect there. And I like how, you know, Boruto basically steps in and doesn't know much of anything, and it takes Sumire saying that he's got very sad eyes after Sumire gets choked out, and Sumire tells Naruto like, hey, I need you to listen to him, he's just like how I was. Naruto rushes off and Boruto says, what do you mean he's sad? And it was really in that moment right there to where Sumire, I'm guessing a certain part of her body got a little bit tingly, and Sumire said, choke me daddy, choke me. But what I will say though is that I like how you see in that moment when Kawaki did choke Sumire on how he lashes out and how much he just doesn't actually trust people. So I thought that that was nice. Overall, this was an okay setup episode. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I get what they were establishing. Based on the next episode preview, it's going to be yet another episode that is mostly going to be devoted to giving you more information about Kawaki. And this is really just to set us up to where once we get to the straight manga adaptation, it's coming very short from here, you begin to root for Kawaki and everything. So I get what they're going for on here. The episode held my attention. I'm not going to call it bad. I'm not going to call it a good episode either. This is one of those in-between episodes in my opinion. But my episode question to you guys is, how did you guys feel about the way that the actual writing for this episode basically put Kawaki's personification into the actual dog and use that dog as a way to actually reflect Kawaki's spirit? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.